Hillary Clinton getting plenty of media attention these days as she prepares a possible presidential run. A lot of it's negative. Mainstream media outlets apparently not offering the former Secretary of State a free pass on two issues: the controversy over use of private emails and questionable donations to the Clinton Foundation by foreign governments with which she was dealing all the time that she was Secretary of State. So has the coverage really been fair here? Let's put the question to Alan Colmes, host of the Alan Colmes Show, nationally syndicated by Fox News Radio. Tammy Bruce joins us, radio talk show host and a Fox News contributor.
Hi, guys.
So, Tammy, it's been a week since the story broke, and I looked today at the newspapers, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, New York Times. They all have major stories on it still 1 week hence. What kind of a grade do you give the media here?
Well, it's interesting because at first, when this broke, when she finally tweeted an answer, she's been silent. And some of the coverage of her answer on Twitter was, Hillary breaks her silence. Well, no, she didn't. I mean, look, this is pretty much an internecine war. They can't really ignore it because new media now does help change how news is covered and what stories are covered. So they're finally seeing new media as competition. But the fact of the matter is, I think they've never really liked her anyway. They threw her under the bus for Obama, the media did. And now, look, you've got Elizabeth Warren, you've got O'Malley on the horizon. And I think this is not about them being fair or finally covering liberals. It's that they're going after someone they've never really liked.
Alan, it wasn't a conservative media outlet that broke the story. It was the New York Times. They went with it 3 days, front page of the New York Times for 3 consecutive days. They haven't relented. And lots of critics over at MSNBC, including Lawrence O'Donnell, who has absolutely been ripping into Hillary Clinton every night. What do you think? What do you make of it?
I'm so disappointed by liberal media. Come on. Aren't we supposed to be all gathering together singing Kumbaya about every potential Democratic candidate? What's going on? I think Andy Borowitz had the best line. He said the Clintons, in terms of scandals, did their best work in the 90s. I mean, this isn't a real scandal. But look, I don't think this was a well-sourced story. The Associated Press went with a headline, Home Brew, and everybody picked up on Home Brew. There's no evidence that the server itself was at Hillary Clinton's Chappaqua home. They asked,
are you serious?
There's no evidence.
You're really going with that, Alan?
I am going with that. There's no evidence.
Come on, under a pseudonym? I mean, why would you do that?
The domain was registered to their home, but that doesn't mean that the server was there. And they continue to repeat this. Well, they keep repeating the word home brew as if, one person like AP or one organization.
See, now you really shocked me going with that angle, Alan, I must say. Tammy,
I'm happy to shock.
Let me put a question to you. I was watching the CBS Evening News. Charlie Rose was subbing, and he put the question to his political director, why is this story getting so much attention? Sounds like Alan. As if to suggest that it should not in a really disparaging way. Well, I mean, no surprise. I mean, is that evidence of sort of chumminess that goes on between some members of the media and the Clinton faction?
Well, let me just say, if Alan said homebrew one more time, I was going to need to. I was getting thirsty, so that was dangerous. But look, I mean, this is. I think that they don't see it as serious because, frankly, this is not unusual for the Clintons. They want to protect themselves. This is kind of how they operate. We're already with Clinton fatigue because we know this is what they do. And I think the media wants it to not be an issue, but they can't make it go away. And I think that there are some Hillary fans in the media, clearly. I think the New York Times is not among them. And I think that's what you're seeing here. This isn't about the liberal media.
And Alan, I wonder if it's because a lot of progressives really don't like the fact that at least they perceive Hillary as, sort of a moderate here, and they'd prefer somebody like a Liz Warren.
It's all the media getting together to get Warren to run. That's it, Greg, yeah. It's all the liberal media getting together to make sure Elizabeth Warren is
the discussion
I'm not saying they're all together, but some members of the media may prefer that.
Well, there might be some members of the media who actually vote Republican. I mean, this may shock you.
Look,
but there might be people who don't like anybody on the left.
Look, you guys, one of the major liberal trolls on Twitter actually tweeted, I will care about and make a big deal of the Hillary Clinton email scandal if it gets Elizabeth Warren to run. And then there's Bernie Sanders. And as I mentioned, O'Malley is suddenly looking good to some people. So, they see this as an opportunity.
Alan, this conversation has reminded me that you got your start in stand-up comedy. And so thank you
for the kudos
much
for my comedic abilities, Greg. I much appreciate it.
Attaboy. Thank you both. Good to see you.